Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacquelyn Lopez, and today I have a DIY video. Today we are going to be doing this farmhouse bead garland. Now, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I do a lot of DIY videos and home decor hauls. Thank you, enjoy the video. These are the supplies that we will be needing. Some beads, and I have these two different sizes, a 27 and a 34 pack. Some cotton twine, assorted ribbon, and some wood stain for your beads if you'd like. Some scissors. Now I'm going to show you the supplies for the exact tassel that I am making. So we are using some jump rings, some eye screws, jewelry making pliers. You are going to be able to make any kind of tassel that you want. I'm just showing you exactly what I'm using and making. Now we are going to start by making the tassel first, which will be added to the last bead of our garland. I am using assorted ribbons. I did buy this pack at Michael's, and then just some lace ribbon that I had from Dollar Tree. Now we are going to be cutting one of each of the ribbons, but two of the jute twine. I had already made one just to make sure that it would work and look good, so now I just want to make the next one in the exact same order, so that's why I opened that one up so that I could see what order I followed in my ribbon. The length of your ribbon is going to be based off of personal preference on how long you would like your tassel to be. Like most tassels, this is going to be fold over, so keep that in mind when deciding the length. I believe mine is about 8 to 10 inches long, so that when it's folded over, it's about 4 to 5 inches of tassel. Now once you have them all gathered together, you are going to fold them in half so that it'll now look like a tassel. Now when folding over, make sure you do leave a little bit of space on the top so that we can insert one of our jump rings. So that's what we're going to start doing. Just go ahead and take a jump ring, open it up, and you're going to attach it to the top so that it'll loop through it, and that'll kind of keep everything together. Now, if you are a regular DIYer or have any experience in jewelry making, this is kind of self-explanatory. I am trying my best to try and explain it to you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. So now we're moving on to our second jump ring, and we're going to attach that one further down, but this time it'll be cinching all of them in together. Again, just open it and put it through and just close it up. You can close it up by hand or you can use the pliers. Now the second jump ring, you want it to be the same length far down as our other one. Now we're going to move on to the screw portion of our tassel. So you are going to need a smaller jump ring. I do not know what size it is because it's just part of what I had in my little collection of DIY supplies. And you are going to attach it to the eyelet screw just by opening it and looping it through. This is kind of what it looks like once it's all together, and you don't need the pliers to do this. You can do all of this by hand. Again, it's just part of what I have in my DIY supplies. We are going to be attaching it to our wood beads, and you are going to want to do it in the middle next to the holes, if that makes any sense, just because that's the way it'll hang easier. You're going to want to first make a little screw hole by moving it side to side until it sticks, and then you're going to want to twist it all the way in. This is going to be what's going to take the longest for you, and I strongly recommend doing the final attachment of the screws by hand. I did break off two little heads of the screws on one of my beads, and I'll show you what that looked like right there. So make sure again that you twist it by hand, and then once it's in, you're going to open up that smaller jump ring and attach it to the larger jump ring that is on the tassel. Now we're going to move on to the garland, and I am using cotton twine. You can use any kind of twine that you have, whether it be jute twine or embroidery floss, whatever it is, your personal preference. I don't use a lot of burlap or jute twine because to some of them I do become allergic to it. I think it's just because I have really sensitive skin. But we're going to start by looping the beads through. In order to do so easier and faster, I am attaching a little bit of tape to the ends, kind of making it look like a shoelace, because again, that's just what'll make it easier to loop through. Now I am following a pattern here of 2 small beads and then 1 larger one, and I'm going to continue this until I'm fully out of beads. Keep in mind that our tassel is attached already to a smaller wood bead, so that's how we're going to end off our garland. So I am starting off by just 1 small bead because our second one is already attached to the tassel, and that's exactly how I'm going to end it as well. Now I did forget to mention that I stained my beads, and these are the ones that I already did. You can stain them in any color that you want. You can paint them or leave them natural. These were stained in the same brand that I showed you, but in a color called True Brown, and that's what makes them look darker. Don't you think they look like black olive, especially because they're in this little glass dish? Now at this point, I'm going to end my pattern of the 2 small, 1 large, because I did run out of the smaller beads. And you do want to make sure that your garland has movement. So when cutting off the end of your twine, make sure that you are leaving a little bit of room for that. You don't want to make it too stiff so that it will drape easily over items if that's how you choose to style it. Now we are going to be looping through our final bead, which is the one that has the tassel attached to it. So make sure that you do have the tape at the ends. Also leave yourself some room so that this next step will become easier, because we are going to be attaching again that final bead with the tassel. So loop both of them through, and this is what it's going to look like once it's attached. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our end of the ribbon and attach it to the second to last bead, and that's how it's going to hang off. Now in order to keep it there, we are going to need to tie some knots that will be concealed kind of inside of that second bead. So make sure that you do make these knots tight, and the number of knots that you're going to end up using is going to be dependent on the width of whatever material you use to loop your beads through. So if you are using probably a jute twine, you'll probably only need about 2 or 3. Because I am using cotton twine and that's thinner, I believe I use a total of 4 knots. Just cut off the excess at the end, and again, that'll kind of be concealed within that bead. And here I show you kind of like the room that I left at the top for movement. I do believe I left a little too much, but it's perfectly fine. Here is your completed ends, and you can paint those little ends. Just take a little bit of your stain on a cotton swab and just lightly dab it, that way you don't see it. I don't mind it because it's the exact same color as my ribbon. And that's it for this DIY. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me any questions down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much again. Have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.